Hello, this is Matt, and welcome to another Raichious Reviews. Today I'm looking at Split. Now, it's kind of hard to talk about this film without talking about the guy who made it, M. Night Shyamalan. This guy got a lot of acclaim very early on for films like The Sixth Sense and Unbreakable, and then kind of went on a, shall we say, a bit of a downturn. Yeah, he just started churning out very bad movies, there's no way around it. And he caught the ire of the geek community, in particular when he adapted the show Avatar. In what some people say ruined the franchise. I don't know, I was too bored to be offended really. But he seems to be making a comeback recently. He made another film which I can't remember the name off the top of my head, and got a lot of interest in this film, Split. People actually started to get interested in M. Night Shyamalan films again. And you know what, it's good for him because although I don't think he has made the best films, he does have a very particular style. I do kind of admire the fact that he didn't give up. He just kept coming back and coming back. And this time, it kind of seems like he might have finally got this filmmaking thing down. So what's the premise? Three girls have been kidnapped by a man with multiple personality disorder, played by Jake Gyllenhaal. Sorry, James McAvoy. Why do I keep confusing people? And probably the less you know, the better. Split personality, three captured girls. Okay, normally I like to talk about how the cinematography works, or how the acting works, and this time I'm gonna bump it into one category. I'm gonna call the Shyamalan category. See, Shyamalan has a very particular style. He likes to put the camera in people's faces a lot. You know, like, kind of like what I'm doing now, except it doesn't work in a film sense. You get me? He also has a very particular way of... His actors act a certain way. Let's say that. It's not... His bad acting is also kind of over the top. It doesn't seem like your typical bad acting. It kind of feels like the acting you would see from an alien who is trying to imitate what they think people act like. That's the best way I could describe it. And surprisingly, this is a film that actually, he does still have that style, but it plays to his strengths a lot more. See, this is a horror film, but it's not a horror film that's like constantly trying to scare you. It's more unnerving. And you are laughing at it, at how over the top Jake Gyllenhaal is. Sorry, James McAvoy. Why do I keep doing that? And the very weird cinematography actually does help the style a lot more in creating tension. Though it does kind of creep into areas where it shouldn't. I like to kind of compare this to another film he made, which I can't remember the name of. It's not After Earth. The one with Will Smith. In that one, it kind of felt like the weird acting had a point because it was about people who inhibited their emotions. That was part of their characters, and it worked for them, I felt like, but not for anybody else who's supposed to be acting normally. And the same thing happens here. He has the weird camera shots and the weird acting in like normal environments, and it doesn't work. Like when the dad's talking to the main character in her flashbacks, it doesn't sound like a person. It sounds like Shyamalan directing a person. If you've seen a Shyamalan movie, you know what he's going for. And I will admit, for the most part, it does work. Yeah, it's a Shyamalan movie that actually works. I mean, when was the last time he made like a really critically acclaimed movie? It was like in the 90s, right? You know, quite a few people like Signs. But yeah, it works. There's no way of describing it. That's the weird thing about talking about Shyamalan movie. He doesn't make movies like normal people, and that's usually a bad thing, but here it's a good thing. And then you have James McAvoy. Sorry, I mean Jake Gyllenhaal. I mean James. He plays it just the right level of over the top that, you know, you're laughing at him, but you're also creeped out by him. He does get like that very happy mixture. I don't feel like the film would have worked with anybody else. I can't really think of any actors off the top of my head who could have pulled this off. Just like this crazy, intentionally schizophrenic performance. Maybe Benedict Cumberbatch, possibly. I can't really think of anyone else off the top of my head that could have made this work. But he does! And for the most part, he does get decent performances out of some of the other characters. Not all of them, but some of them. And now I'm going to talk about the ending, because now I need to talk about the 24th personality, referred to as the Beast. See, the thing about this film is that not only do the personalities change, but their bodies change as well, like some personalities in a blind woman are able to see. One of James McAvoy's personalities is diabetic, while the others aren't. And one needs glasses, so he's got poor eyesight. And then you have this final personality, this Beast, who he's just a straight up mutant. His skin is hard enough to stop gunfire and knives, and he crawls on the wall like Spider-Man. I think that your willingness to suspend your disbelief on this particular area is going to largely affect how you feel about this film. But I can buy it. I mean, it looks silly, but I kind of buy it because it does create this thing. It doesn't kind of come out of nowhere. You do have like the doctor who's been looking after him, talking about other cases, and the fact that they have this thing where they are able to change physical mannerisms. So why not this new personality that is able to change himself on such a deliberate level? Because it does kind of like, there's a line near the end where he says like, we are what we want to be, or something like that. And there is kind of this sense that like he's kind of created this personality rather than like it's something that, it just occurred. So it does create the right environment to help you accept this. You just need to like, this is either going to make you love or hate this film, and maybe a bit of both. That's not the twist though. There is a twist. I really don't want to give anything away, but if you know M. Night Shyamalan's films, this will make a lot of sense at the end. Okay, so final roundup. Like I said, I'm going to be combining the acting and camera work into the Shyamalan category, and we'll say that works at a 3 when it's like done perfectly, which I don't think it really has yet. But there's times it works, but most of the time it does. So we're going to bump that down to a 2. So that's 2 points there for Shyamalan and what he does and how it works, but he uses areas where it's not supposed to be there. But for the most part, it does work. It does work for the most part. And then another point for James McAvoy, because, my God, he is a delight in this. If you like hammy acting and can suspend your disbelief regarding the ending, you're gonna love this. And personally, I love it when actors just do their thing and just entertain for the sake of entertainment. So that's another point there. I can't really think of anything that drags it down. I mean, I've talked about the Shyamalan acting, but like I said, it works for the most part. So I'm going to give this an 8 out of 10. This was really enjoyable and scary in the right ways. Yeah, it definitely feels like Shyamalan finally made a film that plays to his strengths. I'm interested to see where this goes from here.